Hi, today's topic is married women of Reddit. What one thing could you so do that would instantly make you happier in your marriage? Please consider subscribing if you enjoy the video. Throw dirty clothes in the hamper instead of next to them. Take more interest in what I do. I feel like I'm always asking him about the book he's reading, about his interests, etc. It's rarely ever reciprocated. Put things back in their place, not just on the nearest available surface, which is too often just the freaking floor. Help with the mental load. We have 2 kids and a household, and it's up to me to remember everything that needs to be done. It's like I'm the chef and he's my sous chef. He's happy to help, but he has to be told how to help. I wish he would just look around and see what needs to be done and do it so I don't have the mental load of tracking and managing all 4 of our leaves plus our house. I wish he'd take care of things every time he said he was going to take care of them. I worry about things and it would be so much easier if he would just do what he says he's going to do. There's always some reason as to why he was going to look into it, but it's always an excuse. It's a big turn-off and it just makes me worry more. Money has been a little tight lately and he gets his Xbox membership renewed yearly as well as his EA subscription on Xbox. I asked him to make sure it wouldn't do that, because we're a little tight on money. He didn't do it. Both things renewed, on separate days, and he thought he did it and didn't know it was going to renew this month, and we paid $64 extra for it because of insufficient funds being in our savings, instead of checking. I wish I knew what little attentions to do for him. I'm very vocal when I want things and he knows to get me flowers or my favorite chocolate when I have a crap day, but he's a very contented person. When I ask him if he needs anything he'll often say he's perfectly fine. I wish there was a fairly easy little thing I could do for him to raise his spirits a little when he has hard days. Stop waiting until later to do things. I end up picking up the slack and he inevitably says he was going to do that later. If he made dinner or breakfast more often, I can't be doing it all the time. Be willing to come and do fun things with me and our 2 boys. He doesn't like being outdoors, and he stresses about being in what he calls an environment he can't control with the kids. So he never comes with us to the park, the beach, the pool, theme parks, basically anything that is not a mall, and even going to the mall is stressful. The extent of outing that he is willing to do most days is take us to the drive-thru. I have stopped trying to make him do things with us, because it just turns into a stressful outing and not fun at all. But it makes me sad that all these family outings are just me and the kids. And it makes me jealous to see other families doing things together. Use his own initiative to tidy, clean up, not just say if you want me to do anything tell me. To be fair to him, this is pretty much his only fault. I'm very lucky, he's a fantastic husband and all-round good egg. Stop being so defensive. Growing up, his stepdad was a monster to him, would beat him, because he came home from school 5 minutes late, assuming he was being a hooligan. Fast forward, now he's incredibly defensive about everything. Even if I'm not getting onto him, he puts up his guard. He does it with everyone and it's honestly the most frustrating thing about him. I had an abusive upbringing and in the past 5 years, I've worked really hard to accept criticism better and stop assuming everyone hates me. He doesn't have a lot of self-awareness or insight though, so he hasn't done the same. For example, I'll ask, "Hey, did you take the dog out?" and his response will be, in a hastened, defensive tone, "No. But it's because I was making my lunch for work. I'm going to." Mind you, I'm not your classic nag. When I ask these things, it's usually in a song-sangy, compassionate voice specifically not to trigger him. It doesn't work. If he even thinks you're saying something that isn't 100% positive to him, he loses his shit. It's taking a huge toll on our relationship, if I'm being honest. He was seeing a therapist to help, but stopped going. I've gotten him self-help books, but he won't read them. I'm not sure where to go from here, but he's got to understand that I can live the rest of my life feeling vilified every time I ask a question. To him, it's a personality quirk, but it makes me feel like I'm the bad guy all the time. Kiss me or touch me playfully without any reason. He's an amazing husband and father, but when it comes to conversations and affection, this guy has nothing to offer. Married 13 years, will he ever change? Sigh. 10 years married, very much in love, 2 kids, sex life is pretty dope, generally things are pretty good, but, holy shit, please freaking take me out on a date. Plan it yourself, dress up for it, get stoked for it, and continue to be stoked for it when the actual day comes. No complaining about feeling uncomfortable in your clothes. No complaining about how expensive the freaking restaurant is or how much this whole production is going to cost. No whining about the bullshit Seattle traffic. Just freaking sit with me and enjoy my company like I already know you freaking do in an outfit and setting other than PJs at home. Please. I miss spending time with you without our kids. One of the huge things that bothers me is that when I go out with my girlfriends or I'm late getting home on a weeknight due to the oldest's activities, it's like time stands still at home. The other three don't get put to bed. No jammies are on. Teeth aren't brushed. Stories aren't being read. Dude, I go out to get a break from the kids. Please don't just pause time and make me put kids to bed at 10 p.m. when I get home from a nice night out with my girlfriends. Make an attempt. It just really makes me not want to go out with my girlfriends next time, because I know I have to deal with tired, whiny children. Understand why I'm not as sexually needy as he is. Want me to put out more? Then get me in the mood by doing something without me having to ask. Like come home with groceries without me asking you to. Cook supper without me asking. That's the kind of stuff that makes me happier and less stressed. And ultimately what makes me feel closer in a relationship and less like a mom. Making time to spend with me. It has been a huge issue. He seems to have time to golf, hang out with his friends, and pursue hobbies. But when it comes to me, I always feel like last priority. Soon to be ex-husband, but, treat me as an equal. Don't say you want a partner and not a child, but then treat me as a roommate that cannot function without you. Make decisions with me, not telling me after you've made them. Car insurance, plans with people, etc. Show me affection. My love languages are gifts and physical affection. Don't roll your eyes when I ask for a hug. Get me flowers once in a while. I don't care if they die. It's the thought behind it. Put me first. Not your friends. Not your hobby. Not alcohol. Not weed. Me. Like you promised to when we got married. I'm more important than filmmaking, so you can go play director. Care for my emotions. Don't deny them and decide that I'm too emotional for any difficult conversation just because I cry. I'm a human woman, not a robot, and I don't shut down anytime something happens. I'm way stronger than you give me credit for. Show appreciation for the things I do. Don't rag on me to exercise, lose weight, but then sabotage my diet and refuse to go to the gym with me. I have chronic pain and autoimmune issues. Of course I can't do all the same things you can. Sorry for the vent. Men. If you want to be respected in your relationship, you need to respect your partner, respect her opinions, put her needs first and on the same level that you put yours. We aren't fragile, but we do need to be cared for. Just like you do. Treat others how you'd like to be treated. First and foremost, your wife. Offer to help me before I have to ask for your help. If you see me cleaning or struggling with something, especially the kids, just help me. Don't say all you have to do is ask for help. No, I shouldn't have to ask you to help with your kids. Just freaking do it. We also have our duties divided. Like I get the kids ready for school and take them to school and he does bedtime. Just freaking do what you're supposed to do without me telling you to do it. When you put the kids to bed at 9, they are miserable in the morning. So basically, just do what you are supposed to do without the wife having to ask or tell you to do it. Also, if you will be late home from work, give the wife a heads up before you are actually late. Stop making everything a big deal. Yes, I know I was playing with the cat. Yes, I know the cat ran headfirst into his water bowl and spilled water everywhere. But water can be cleaned. It's really not a problem. Do you absolutely have to pitch a fit? I love the man, but his fuse is a fraction the length of mine. Just the smallest things tend to set him off. Not married, but close to it. I wish he would exercise more. And this doesn't mean he has to go all out at the gym, but enough to maintain his health. He's almost 10 years older than I am and he doesn't work out anymore, and I am just worried about his health in the future. I want to be able to have kids with him and he can keep up and remain active like I want our future family to be. He at least doesn't eat poorly and has a decent diet. I wish he would ask me about my day sooner. I don't like just telling him right away how my day was unprompted, and I always am the one to ask him how his day was over dinner. If not earlier, it's usually not until much later that he asks. And then when I'm discussing, sometimes he will think he's supporting my conversation. But really he derails and starts telling me a story that is unrelated to what I'm saying, and it takes about 20 minutes for us to get back to what I was saying. I certainly don't think it's out of malice. He just likes to talk a lot. I give him massages when he's really stressed with a happy ending. It'd be nice to get one in return every once in a while without having to ask for it. Be happy with what we have. Our life is amazing. But he gets bogged down worrying about the parts he wishes were better and never enjoys the things that are great today. I know he doesn't mean it that way, but it makes me feel like there is no pleasing him. Please, for the love of God, remember what I say. I'm so sick of having to repeat myself over and over. Pay attention when I talk. Lift the freaking toilet seat before he takes a piss, or at least wipe the piss off the seat if he doesn't want to lift it. It's the smallest thing, but it drives me so batshit. I shouldn't have to clean up anyone's piss before sitting down to take mine. Lift the freaking seat, Richard. God. Spend a bit more money on himself. He buys me a lot of little gifts and I love them all, but I wish he would take a little of that money and treat himself. I literally have to force him to buy things like new socks and undies, because he just does not like to spend money on himself, even if it's my money. Use the proper words for when he plans to do something. For example, currently him saying he'll do it right now could mean anywhere between 10 minutes from now to several hours from now, perhaps even longer if he forgets about it. I'd even be okay with something super vague like I'll get it done today, or sometime this afternoon. I don't care, just not the words you'd usually use to mean doing something soon being used to mean anything between soon and a few days' time. Remembering stuff, noticing stuff, he doesn't forget my birthday or anything. But if I ask him to grab eggs on the way home from work and he doesn't make a specific phone alarm about it, that information is as good as gone. He's not doing it on purpose, but it creates an if I don't do it, it's not happening power dynamic that I don't like. Spend less time in front of the computer. He would be able to do more for himself without losing time behind the PC. Not be so negative. I'm a positive person and I try to help him see the bright side, but it's so draining. He curses about everything and it just wears on me. He loves me and constantly tells me how happy I make him, so that's always nice. But sometimes you just gotta live and let be. Spend time with me for the sake of spending time with me. Second place answer, get a job. He lost his job the week before Christmas and hasn't put any effort into finding a new one. I know it's depression and I know it will pass, but it's getting harder to cope each week. He's home all day and won't do dishes, clean, cook. Definitely more sex, and add in some toys as well to make it fun. We have toys we haven't even used yet. I also wish he knew how important foreplay is. He could stop referring to me as some type of food, saying things like I want to eat you with some ketchup or barbecue sauce. You're so yummy doesn't turn me on at all. He also likes to randomly pull my boobs out and grab one like it's a burger and then puts it in his mouth to suck and says yum or let's outer. Afterwards. I'm not sure if this is his way of initiating sex, but it is not very good at all lol, and I have told him plenty of times. I give him plenty of BJS even when he doesn't ask. But he doesn't do the same for me. Why do I have to ask? Just do it. If they just cared more about keeping a neat and tidy living space. I admit that I'm probably a bit more neurotic than most when it comes to living spaces, but just pick up your clutter or wipe the counter after you make coffee so there aren't grounds or stains on it. Take me on a date. The last date I can remember was over 2 years ago. We went to a movie. Once every couple of months my parents will take our daughter for a sleepover to let us have date night. He always says he would rather save money or that he's too tired for a date and we end up getting takeout and watching Netflix. I want my husband to date me. I want to know I'm still desirable and worth the trouble of a date. I miss the romance. Not yell at me when I'm having a panic attack and to not take it personally. I'm in intensive therapy so I'm trying very hard. It's just frustrating. Stop asking me so many goddamn questions. I walk in the room on Saturday morning. Why are you dressed? Do you want to cook breakfast? Do you want me to cook breakfast? Do you want to feed the baby? I sit down. When did you last wash the baby? Did you change her this morning? I get up to go pee. Why are you getting up? Can you make coffee? My marriage feels more like an interrogation than anything most of the time. Bombarding me with 1,000 questions isn't the same as talking to a person or having a conversation. Recognize on his own that things need done around the house and do them, not wait for me to tell him what to do. He's good about doing them, I just hate having to be the coordinator and I wish he'd take some initiative and pay attention. Please subscribe if you like the video. It really helps the channel to grow. Adios.